Yeah, I take on guilt very quickly, for some reason, whether I am or not, I just come up with that appearance that I am and stutter and get misconjobulated and just kind of
Well, it
nervous.
doesn't matter whether you call it guilt or blame or anger or fear or worry. It doesn't matter what label you give to it. In every case, it's you looking at it in a way that is disallowing you to receive the broader knowing, understanding opinion.
I understand that, because I'm usually there, but I'm taken out of that alignment, or I'm pulled from it very quickly. I'm not strong in it.
We want to speak to this with you because it's the same exact thing. What Esther was explaining to herself and to her friend who's looking with her over the edge, and what she went to explain to the man who fortunately was not there, or by now she would have replaced his entire landscaping. What she was trying to explain to him is, I didn't mean to do this. This is a misunderstanding. This was not my intention. I did not mean for that to happen. And that's what you're talking about. In other words, when you know that you're the creator of your own experience, and you understand that you are not creating through your actions, that the step one is where all the creating's happening. There's this sifting and sorting, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want. That's when you're putting everything into this vortex. And then the rest of your creating is about being in that chilled place where you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, getting into the receiving mode, because when you ask, it is framed up for you in a vibrational sense. And then your work is to relax and allow yourself to receive the thoughts and so forth. And so that readiness to jump to the incorrect conclusion that you are not good, or that you've done wrong, or that you are being misunderstood, that comes from not fully accepting that you can be or do or have anything. It comes from misunderstanding of how creation happens. And of course, you're all steeped with that because you were taught so many things as you were coming along through life experience. And most of those things that you were taught were not about vibration. They were not about your guidance system. They were not about your alignment with source energy. They were about your interaction with one another. And those who needed, or who believed they needed to control you, were the ones who were giving you the information. Most people really believe that for them to live happily, they've got to control the people around them. Starts with parents mostly. You got to control those little buggers or they'll take over the household. In other words, teachers believe it about school too. And most people really believe that it is through action that things happen to them, and that the only way that they can be safe or happy is by controlling the actions of other people who mean them harm. That's the way you teach each other. You teach guardedness, you teach protectiveness, when the opposite is who you really are. The well-being is so dominant. And when you get hold of that, when you get hold of a little piece of that, in other words, Esther's there most all day, every day, but isn't it lovely that she has such a meaningful experience that lets her understand that perception controls everything. What you think is what's dominant in your experience. There's no reality that affects you. There's no realness, there's no truth, there's no fact that affects any of you beyond your perception and belief of it. Wow. Some people would take away from this conversation, well then, are you just trying to get us to put our head in the sand and not face any facts, that we could just make anything up and it would be? Yes. You create your own reality. But your question is such a wonderful question, because you're wanting to bridge this reality that is vivid and it is real. Esther argued with us in the early stages of interacting with us. She said, but Abraham, it's true. This negative thing that I'm talking about and pointing out, it is a true thing. And we said to Esther, just because you believe it is true doesn't mean it deserves your attention. The question is this thing that I believe true something that I want to perpetuate? And if it is, give it your attention. And if it isn't, withdraw your attention from it. But humans feel guilty when you don't look at things that you believe are true just because you don't want them.
That's why you're in the flesh, not in the spirit.
but it is a misunderstanding that being in the flesh is bringing to you, and it is an unnecessary thing. Are you with us on this? So let's take the realness of the world. Let's for a moment just together acknowledge that there is a world out there, and you have a lot of ability to see a lot of it through your devices and so forth. So you have an awareness of this diverse world of things wanted and unwanted in it, and you want to call that current reality on planet Earth, and we want to call it current perceived reality on planet Earth. It's a difference. So then you say, but this event happened and we all saw it. We became aware of it. This event happened, so it is reality. And we say that event happened and it is reality, and that unwanted event that happened caused millions, perhaps billions of people to send rockets of desire into a vibrational reality of what you want other than that. I don't want that, I do want that. So now a reality, a bigger reality, has come about because of the realness of something that you lived. But humans are so slow to turn their attention away from the reality that created this improvement. They rarely look at the improvement. They keep looking at the reality, what they want to call reality, because it manifested, and so it has facts and pictures and sound bites and realness that this reality does not yet have. And that's what trips people up. They are captivated, they are in love with the things that have played out, that they can see and hear and smell and taste and touch, and they're losing their sense of being the creator of the improved world as a result of that. And so your inner being, who is with you at all times, while your inner being saw what you saw, your inner being saw it this way: the manifestation underway, the bounce that happened from it, and then undivided attention on the new and improved. But humans get stuck in the justifying why they want the new and improved by pushing against the horror or the badness of whatever it is they didn't want to live. Perception, 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 perception. So you know what we're talking about here? And there are a lot of realists in the world that would not want to be having this conversation. You know what we're talking about here? We're talking about a decision on the part of you in your human form to regurgitate the reality that has already played out, rather than being part of the creation of that which is coming. And we want you to know that the satisfaction that you will feel is in the following these thoughts into these things, not examining and sorting and sifting the things that have already come to be, come to be, come to be.